joined by Chosen, aka Chofly, aka Brad, aka Chofly Elite, aka...
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Man, I can't keep up with you, bro. How you doing, man? Welcome back to the channel.
We got a lot going on. Hey, it's always fun to be here. I appreciate you having me on for a collab.
I always love having you on the channel. I think I probably mentioned it before, but you are on, like, I think you're probably the only YouTuber. I probably gave you the same intro last time because it's true. But I think you're the only content creator in Raid that I watch all your videos, man. Because I find them concise, which is something I can't say about my own content. A, and B, really good for like newsworthiness stuff, you know, like you kind of get into the nitty gritty, I guess, of offers and like stuff that I just want to know what should I do about this situation, you know? So love the content, you guys. If you haven't seen Chofly's content, definitely go ahead and check out his YouTube channel in the show notes below. Everything else, Twitter, Twitch, everything else I can find on the dude will be there as well. Today, we're going to talk about the best free champions. Specifically, we're going to leave out all the campaign rares because I think everybody at this point, Chosen, they know that, you know, War Maiden's good, Diabolus is good, you can get, you know, some value out of these champions. We're also not going to include, like, the Doom Tower champions that will take you, like, Bosatha or whatever. It's going to take people years and years of playing the game unless you're spending a ton of money to get. And then the last champion that we're going to leave off the list is, and we kind of talked a little bit about this off air, but we didn't want to include the Hydra clan boss champion, Mithrala, because... well, it's endgame content, and to say that anybody can get her, sure. Again, if you play long enough, but we thought we'd leave her off the list, right?
Yeah, for sure. And little blast from the past for fun. Back in the day when Raid launched, the hot topic was the first champion everybody should 6-star was actually Executioner from the campaign, and Plarium actually responded by nerfing him.
I don't like when people are, what do you call it, happy?
And Aethel was widely regarded as the best starter back then because there was no War Master mastery. So everybody was doing Giant Slayer, and Aethel was the one with the triple hit A1 that placed weekend. So just some fun little blast in the past from the launch of Raid.
See, Chosen, always bringing the knowledge, man. And also, I want to give like an honorable mention to start the video instead of to end it, and that is Yannicka, who's available through the clan quests or whatever they are, clan tokens. You can buy the tokens for Yannicka. I have not done so yet, but I'm almost there. I think I'm a few purchases away. Did you buy her?
I was actually lucky enough to summon a Yannicka.
Okay.
But yeah, she's a great Spirit Affinity nuker. So she's got really good multipliers. So yeah, she's a decent champion to have in there as in a shop.
Sounds good, man. Well, hey, you are the guest. Let's go ahead and jump into the top 10. We're going to alternate, so go with your pick number 1, man. Who you got?
Alrighty, so for number 1, if I have to pick like a champion everybody can get, obviously I'm going to start with Scyl and Hellmut.
You're taking my girl, Brad? What the heck, man?
I hear it from the grapevine that that's your girl, but yeah,
girl. I claimed her. I don't know if I'm her guy, but she's my girl. Yeah.
Just the whole way the kit is designed, it kind of provides what you need when you get her. It provides support, a defensive scaling champion that's tanky, that places some CC, that gets value out of basically whatever set you put her in, relentless, high speed, stun set, like whatever, gives you so much utility when you're needing it to kind of progress into further content, along with having a revive ability. So yeah, so she just kind of checks all the boxes you're looking for when you get her.
Yeah, I think that, I've said it before, but I think that Scyl was, all jokes aside, you know, I think she's the best thing that Raid or Plarium ever put into Raid. Even better than Ninja, because Ninja was limited offer, but like it's a great opportunity for everybody to pick up a game changer champion. My first is going to be, I guess I'll go with a pretty obvious one. This is going to be our only Doom Tower champion, but Archmage Hellmut is really, people say this throw around like is a legendary and epic's, you know, skin or whatever all the time, but I really think that Archmage Hellmut lives up to it. He has a reliable 75% stun on an AoE with good multipliers as well. He's immune to turn meter decreasing effects. He has increased crit rate, speed, and crit damage on a 3-turn cooldown, and a speed in all aura, or in all battles rather, on his aura. And the dude is fast. He's got really good base stats, 19k, 1200, and 108 on the speed. So yeah, Archmage is a champion that really everybody can get, just by farming, you know, even the first or second secret rooms on Doom Tower normal, eventually everybody will be able to land this guy.
I remember when he was data mine leaked, and we were all like, "Oh, geez, this guy's gonna be really good."
Yeah, so yeah, definitely Archmage Helmet is a favorite of mine, and everybody should focus on, I would say, Doom Tower early on, because you can get your hands on him eventually, even if, again, you can only clear the first secret room of Doom Tower normal. Who you got next, Chosen?
We were talking about how Scyl was one of the things that Plarium really got right.
I mean, would it kill you not to be so funny all the time? That's all I'm asking. This woman thinks I'm very funny, and now you're going to be funny, so what am I going to be? I'm going to be a short, bald guy with glasses who suddenly doesn't seem so funny.
I think right after that, the number 2 honorable mention after Scyl would be Rhazin. Them adding Rhazin as a permanent fusion option to give players something to work towards. Like, he is the perfect choice for that, because he is going to be a tanky champion that helps out in the clan boss by placing the weaken and the defense down, and then he's also going to have the triple hit A1 for Giant Slayer to crank out damage in that context. He's going to be great in the Wizard Faction Wars, and just very generally useful for Fire Knight and really any content that you're bringing him in because of the debuffs that he brings. So I think, similar to Scyl, that was an amazing choice for when and where they added him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you. Rhazin is solid, man. He can deal a lot of damage, and it brings a lot to the table, man. Control and debuffs on single target, great against bosses, so totally agree with you there. I'm going to actually hit you with a curveball, man. I'm sure you did not see this one coming, but I'm going to go with... I want to make sure I'm going to say this, but I'm actually going to go with Broadmaw. Broadmaw is a permanent fusion inside the game who recently got a buff, and I actually think it was a really solid buff. Now, are people like using Broadmaw in the end game? I guess on Doom Tower Hard, Secret Rooms, a Lizardmen only, right? But aside from that, probably not a ton. But I'll tell you what we don't have access to up until we get Arbiter is a really reliable reviver in the game, you know? He can do that and more. He now has a dependable freeze on the A1. On the A2, they added increased speed, weak version, but nice to have, along with the turn meter boost, along with increased crit rate. Again, good, because in the early game, especially on my free-to-play, man, it's challenging to get everybody to 100% crit rate and get enough accuracy or whatever to build them. And then he's coming in with Revival on 2 random allies on a 4-turn cooldown, block damage on them as well. Not a great revival ability. However, with a 4-turn with block damage, it helps you out a lot. And that block damage is just on, it's just on the revived allies. And then has defense and faction crypts, so certainly can help you out in faction wars as well. So I think that Broadmaw is actually a solid champ now, after they gave him his last buff.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that it's revives 2 random allies, that's fine. I mean, how often are you really reviving 3 or 4 people? That's pretty rare. So it's fine that it's revived 2 random. And yeah, like you said, crit rate is a super impactful thing, especially like when you're early to mid game, when it's really hard to hit those thresholds that you need, especially for accuracy and stuff, when you need to get so many different stats. So yeah, I think similar to Rhazin, he kind of hit a good niche for what he's providing in the game as far as being a permanent fusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, who do you have next?
I'm gonna go with Arbiter, because like when you get Arbiter, it's something that everybody can do. I hosted a free-to-play competition, and somebody did it in 42 days, free to play.
Wow.
So what's funny is when I hosted that free-to-play competition, and I said the fastest person to get Arbiter free to play, everybody was roasting me because they were like, "Are you crazy? It's gonna take a year. Like, no one's gonna pay attention to your free to play competition for a year." And I was like, "You underestimate when you get, you know, a few hundred people doing something, someone's going to be extremely good at the game and get really good luck." I thought it was going to be like 3 months, and somebody did it in 40 days. So even surpassed my expectations. But yeah, it proves it can be done. You do need some good RNG. They summoned like Mashalet and stuff as a free to play. So I'm not saying everybody can do it in 40 or 50 days, but everybody can eventually get to Arbiter if you play the game and you're active and all of that. I believe on my journey, it took me like 4 or 5 months when I was a new player. So when you get her, she's going to help you out so much with quality of life in the arena. You're going to use her in the tag team arena. You're going to use her in the high elves. You're going to use her in lots of different areas of the game. The Fire Knight, different dungeons and stuff. So I think she's a pretty cool champion when you get her. She's definitely a game changer when you acquire her.
Oh, absolutely. An arena game changer for sure. And I made a big mistake, Chosen. What I did was I pulled her. I got lucky enough to pull her before I was done with the missions. And then they added Ramantu or whatever, however you say his name. And I found myself like so far behind. I'm like, oh crap, because I just stopped doing the missions because I thought I never needed Arbiter, you know? This is obviously way before dupes or anything like that. And, you know, Anyway, that's my story.
Written in these walls are the stories that I can't explain.
I will go with one of the, actually, a few of mine here are our daily login reward champions, but they're so incredibly good. And I'm going to start by going a little bit outside the box here with Tainix Hate Flower. Now, no one gave Tainix any love. It's actually a funny story. I first started playing Tainix because of one of your videos. It was because of Demon Spawn Faction War video that you put out probably years ago now. Because you didn't have Duchess, I didn't have Duchess, and there's no healing in Demon Spawn, at least at the time. There was no options. So getting heals out of 6% heal out of this A1 2 times, 3% each, was really helpful, not to mention obviously the AoE decreased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. Now she's way better because she's good against the Hydra clan boss as well. So damage mitigation as well on the passive. Overall, like not the best S tier epic in the game, but definitely a serviceable one that can help you out in some of the more challenging areas of the game.
Yeah, back on my journey to finish Faction Wars, and I was kind of going through, and I was like, I mean, I get heals on the A1, I get speed suppression of all the waves, I get consistent heals because of reducing damage just from the passive ability that she has, and then I get a massive 30% HP in Faction Wars, and she has a base speed of 100. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I use her?
Right?
Why wouldn't I use her to try and help myself finish Faction Wars? So yeah, in my original Demon Spawn team to 3-star all the content, she was definitely in there. So I was one of the first ones on Tainix because I was struggling without having Duchess and stuff like you said. So I was kind of looking to think outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I built a very similar team to what you built. If I remember correctly, did you also have Infernal Baroness on your team in a stun set, or am I making that up?
I may have
at one point, right?
Welcome to the final show.
Why is nothing working?
I'm trying to pull up my original team, so I've just pulled it up. Was Tainix as the lead, and then Prince Kaimar, and then I only had epics. It was Padma, Umbral, and Allure.
Okay, cool. I ended up using, I forget who I didn't have, but I ended up using Infernal with just a stun set on that A1, and that was my only heals, this in Tainix on the squad. So anyway, good call out there. I'm gonna go.
What am I to you?
Oh, that was my pick. Well, who do you got next?
Sure, yeah, I'll go with Drextar. I think he's a solid champ to kind of work towards with the fragments and stuff, because especially if you haven't finished Demon Spawn or Spider. He's tanky. He can be a great Spider tank, and just kind of he's gonna be a very generally useful champion. He's good in some of those Doom Tower boss fights. You can't really go wrong having this guy on your account. He's not gonna be a top 15 legendary in the game. He's not gonna carry your account, but he is fun to have, and you will get some utility out of him.
Yeah, man. I can't say maybe 15, but I would say, especially when Doom Tower came out, man, that was like when Drextar to me was like, went from being a good Spider tank, kind of a niche champion, to wow, this guy is good against every boss, like one of the best against every boss, can solo bosses. So I love Drextar, and I really do. Again, one of the best things that they did, it all revolves around like making these amazing champions accessible for everybody. So I love that they took an area where people weren't really playing much in Tag Team Arena. You could say there's downsides to this too, but I love that they went ahead and gave us a reason to play by adding his fragments to the Bazaar here. So really glad that you mentioned Drextar. I will go with, man, one of the better healer champions out there that's accessible to everybody, and it's Ghrush the Mangler, another daily login reward champion. This guy's really solid, man. He has a leech on the A1, which is helpful, especially against bosses. He has defense and faction crypts on the aura, which is great. On the A2, he has an AoE decreased attack or decreased crit damage. I really wish that was just decreased attack. I'm sure a lot of people do, but still, he's going to be mitigating damage either way. And then on the A3 there, you got an AoE attack again, so he can deal some damage throughout a sustained battle. And then you have 2 continuous heals. You have a big one, and then you have another one as long as your at least one enemy is hit with a critical hit. So overall, like a lot of support out of this champion. Great for Faction Wars, just great anywhere. Deals damage, mitigates a lot of damage. So overall, just really love Ghrush.
Yeah, and I don't actually mind the A.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
To having the crit damage. I think that almost is more impactful than decreased attack, because crit damage is. is
Go
what
ahead.
really scales like crazy. But yeah, no, I always forget about him. But yeah, he's definitely a very solid epic. I actually use him in my Ogren tribes team, but it's been so long since I 3 started that I kind of forget about Ghrush. But yeah, he is a solid epic for sure.
My thing with the crit damage is I agree with you, like against waves or whatever, or in PV if people are using him in the arena. Only problem is against bosses, you know, their crit rate's only 15%, most of them anyway. So it's just like, it's really kind of, I'd so much rather him just land that decreased attack, right? But I agree with you. It depends on where you're using him, obviously. So definitely, either way, an amazing champion. I think I have one more left, so that means you must have one more left.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the champion that everybody hates, and that is Visix. You know, the reason Visix gets a bad rap is not because of how bad she is as a champion. It's because she's available in the Void Shard pool, and that gives her a bad rap because nobody summons her and isn't really upset about it. So that's why she gets a bad rap. But since her buff recently, she's got 2 AoE abilities with the speed suppression, the multi-hitter A1 that affects turn meter, scales with defense, super tanky, almost 1500 base defense. So like, especially if you have not finished Dark Elves and you get her, it's going to be twice as easy as it was. And she actually can be pretty decent in different content from certain dungeons you're clearing, Fire Knight, Doom Tower. So she's really not that bad. She just gets a bad rap in the community.
Oh, first of all, I totally agree with you that Visix is amazing, but I will say that I hear what you're saying on the bad rap regarding like if you pull her, because it sucks to pull a champion that you're gonna get for free. I mean, you could like life token or empower or whatever, or faction guardian. But with that said, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but people respect her as an amazing champion because boy is she good, dude. Decreased speed, AoE, ally protect, 3-turn cooldown, both abilities a 3-turn cooldown, AoE provoke guaranteed, a shield as well on this champion. The only downside to her that I've experienced is, boy, she just takes so much damage with the ally protect and the provoke on one kit. So you really have to build her with a lot of HP, not just the defense, which is pretty easy to scale because she's not super high on HP. But overall, man, Visix now, I agree, is just like amazing.
What the hell are you doing? This is my girl. Mine.
Okay, so my last one. I'm torn on this one, dude. I am really torn because there's a few good ones that we haven't mentioned that are free, but I have to go with Dark Elhain, man, because she's such a nuker, dude. She's a specialist for, I mean, I guess you could use her against Scarab King because she has decreased max HP on the A1 built in, but she's really a specialist for the arena, anti any freeze team. I guess anybody who's gonna put freeze on you, so like Frost Spider, Ice Golem as well. She's a maniac, dude. This A2 Death's Majesty hits very hard. Also has decreased speed at a 50% land rate, make it 55%, 60% with sniper. But really, man, she's replacing freeze. She removing freeze from herself, puts all these buffs on herself instead on the second passive. But the first passive, man, Lethal Winter. I run her an attack percentage on her boots, and I just go all out nuke, and I don't care how fast she is, and I sub her in when I'm going against Tormins or when I'm using her against Ice Golem, because she's instantly using that A2 whenever any ally is frozen. She just nukes the heck out of the enemy team. So I'm a big fan of Dark Elhain, probably a little bit more niche than some of the other champions that we mentioned here today, but overall I like her. What do you think of Dark Elhain?
Yeah, no, well, and that's not really a bad thing to be niche, because as Raid kind of goes and develops, the game is becoming a little bit more specialized, and I'm going to build a team for this, I'm going to build a comp for this, I'm going to counter this in the arena, kind of like, so Dark Lane has a really cool niche in being that nuker that's going to suppress speed when you're having to deal with freeze. So yeah, I think it's cool that she exists in the game, and I think she's definitely a champion you want built and you want at your disposal when you're going up against Tormins or whatever you're coming across, because yeah, I've done some fun things and built some teams to kind of smash Torments. So yeah, she's definitely a cool choice.
Absolutely, man. I think that concludes our list of 10 epic and legendary champions that you know we consider game changers, and everybody can get them eventually. You know, they're all free. You know, quote unquote. Is there anybody that you thought of while we were recording this that we snubbed, Chosen, or is that a pretty thorough list?
I think that's pretty. I mean, once you start getting really situational after that, but you know, you hit kind of that next tier of just like they're all right. So yeah, I think that's pretty good in my opinion in terms of covering the ones to really take note of that everybody can get.
Yeah, I guess the only one that I was personally between when I mentioned Dark Elhain is Haikatoon, right? Like, she's the first login reward you get, but I didn't want to go just like, I could obviously name all the login reward champions, but she's really, really good, obviously, you know, especially if you don't have Apothecary or something like that in the early game. But I think that probably, with that extra, I try to, you know, stick in as many honorable mentions as I can so people can't get pissed in the comments, you know? But I think that's going to do it for the video. Chosen, thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
You bet. It's always fun, Ash. Thanks for having me.
No problem, guys. Go ahead and check out Chosen's channel. We just did a collab on his channel as well, talking about Shadowkin Faction Wars, probably yesterday from the time that this goes live. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. I'll have a link in the show notes below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.